Welcome to the SolaX instructional installation video series. We will guide you through the installation and commissioning of SolaX's X3-ULTRA 30 kilowatts. We will provide detailed step-by-step instructions to ensure the successful installation and commissioning of SolaX's hybrid 30 kilowatts. Before installation, we kindly request that you take a moment to scan the QR code to read the X3-ULTRA 30 kilowatts installation guide and familiarize yourself with all the warnings and caution notes. First, let's get started with the introduction of the X3-ULTRA hybrid 30 kilowatts. X3-ULTRA 30 kilowatts greatly meets the requirements of solar-powered roofs and supports various intelligent solutions such as load management, wireless metering, dual battery terminals, microgrids, etc., to achieve efficient and economical energy utilization. The X3-ULTRA series can be used with different capacities of SolaX battery. Here we take HS25 and 36 battery for example. Please prepare the following tools before installing the inverter. Let's briefly go over what comes in the package of the X3-ULTRA. Now, let's examine the physical appearance and dimensions of the inverter. Please check the dimensions of the bracket before mounting and reserve sufficient space for heat dissipation and installation of the whole system. Here is the interface information of the inverter. To ensure a proper installation, please follow the guidelines. Firstly, please avoid direct sunlight, rain exposure, and snow accumulation, and select a location away from flammable materials and antennas. It is recommended to install an awning or cover over the device. Secondly, the ambient temperature should be between -35 degrees Celsius and +60 degrees Celsius, and the humidity should be within 0% and 100%. Also, the device has IP66 protection. Remember to avoid installing the device at altitudes exceeding 3,000 meters. Also, note the correct installation angle. Install the inverter at a maximum back tilt of 5 degrees and avoid forward or backward tilted, side tilted, or upside down. The minimum clearance reserved for the connected terminal at the bottom of inverter should be 10 centimeters. For multiple systems installation, make sure to leave a minimum space of 30 centimeters between each system. Next, we will proceed with the mounting process. Align the wall mounting bracket horizontally on the wall and mark the position of the drill holes. Set the wall mounting bracket aside and drill holes. Knock the expansion screws into the holes and secure the wall bracket to the wall with screws by torque wrench. Then, hang the inverter on the wall mounting bracket. Secure the inverter to the wall mounting bracket with M5 screw. For safety reason, please install an anti-theft lock. Next, we'll move on to the wiring session. Please prepare the following tools before wiring the hybrid system. Before connecting the inverter to the grid, approval must be received by local utility as required by national and state interconnection regulations. Prepare a 5-code cables and an AC connector. Strip the insulation jacket of AC cables 15 to 17 millimeters. Disassemble the AC connector as below. Remove the round pad which will be no longer used. Insert the grid cables into the ferrules. Use a crimping tool for ferrules to crimp them. Thread the wires into the swivel nut, connector enclosure, and terminal block in sequence. Insert the crimped cables into the AC terminal according to the labeling and tighten them. Then close the waterproof cover. Similarly, make EPS cables. Connect the grid cables into the grid port of the inverter. Then connect the EPS cables to the inverter. Before PV connection, make sure that the PV module output is well insulated to ground. Make PV cables and thread them into terminals. Use a multimeter to measure the voltage between one pair of PV cables. The open circuit voltage should not exceed the input limit of 950 V, otherwise, the inverter will show PV over voltage. Connect the assembled PV cables to corresponding PV ports on the inverter. Before battery power cable connection, please make sure the breaker of battery is in off position. X3-ULTRA can connect HS battery in 2 strings. For more information about the installation of HS 25 and 36 battery, please scan the QR code. Get the battery power cables ready and continue with the similar steps, including stripping the insulation, crimping the wire, and inserting the connectors. Then connect the assembled battery connectors to the corresponding terminal of the inverter. The COM1 terminal is used for parallel connection, battery communication, and DRM function. Remove COM1 connector, anti-clockwise loosen the swivel nut and pull out the sealing plugs. Thread BMS cables through the swivel nut, cable support sleeve, and connector enclosure in sequence. Insert the cables into the BMS of cable fixture. Insert BMS cables into the BMS ports of COM1, connect the assembled connector to COM1 terminal and tighten it. You can choose either to install meter or CT with the inverter, but no need of both at the same time. For CT connection, pin definition for CT is in the cable. Make a network cable by using the RJ45 crimping tool. Make sure the pin order on the 2 sides of the cable matches. Pass the cable through the connector of COM2, plug terminal A to the CT port and fix the connector. Plug terminal B to the RJ45 coupler. Connect the CT to 3 lives, and the arrow on the CT must point at the public grid. Please clip the CT clamps on the corresponding phases. When using the SolaX chint meter, connect the meter cables from pins 4 and 5 of the inverter meter port to pins 24 and 25 of the meter. Similarly, thread the network cable through these modules in sequence. Connect the assembled meter cable into the meter port of COM2 terminal and tighten it. Connect 3 lives and the 0 line into the meter. Plug the network cable into the pin 24 and 25 of the meter. For PE connection, strip the PE cable by wire stripper, put the heat shrink tube on and insert the stripped section into the OT terminal. Screw the PE cable to ground port on the inverter. For pocket Wi-Fi dongle, please note that the Wi-Fi module should be put in an open space that is within the Wi-Fi signal coverage range, and the Wi-Fi router needs to be connected to a public network. Here we take Pocket Wi-Fi 3.0 as an example to demonstrate the installation of monitoring modules. Turn on the DC switch. Turn on the AC breaker and wait for the inverter power on. Then turn on the battery switch and power it on. In a normal state, the power, today, and battery information will be displayed. In an error state, the fault message and error code will be displayed. For work modes, you can choose from the following modes: self-use, feed-in priority, backup mode, manual, peak shaving, schedule. For advanced settings, an advanced password is required. For the password, please consult with SolaX authorized installers. After entering, you can set the data and time of the inverter. And choose the language. For advanced settings, mainly safety code, export control, meter or CT will be involved. You can choose the safety code according to the local requirements. Also, the inverter can do zero export control. By default, the inverter is set to CT, change to meter if the inverter is connected to a meter. Use your smartphone to scan the QR code to download the SolaX Cloud app. Firstly, input the username and password to log in the app. If you do not have an account yet, click Create a new account in the bottom. Secondly, touch the plus icon in the middle of the page, fill in the site information to create a site, such as site name, size, location, etc., and scan the QR code of the pocket Wi-Fi to add the inverter. Next, configure Wi-Fi connection for the Wi-Fi module. For more information about the operation of Wi-Fi configuration, please refer to the Wi-Fi dongle video. Touch the device icon and then touch the settings button to enter the settings page. Settings includes user settings and advanced settings. Once you access the System On or OFF interface, you can remotely configure the system to turn on or OFF as desired. After entering into the work mode interface, you can set self-use, feed-in priority, backup mode, manual, peak shaving, schedule as follows. The default password should be set by SolaX authorized installers. After entering into the user settings interface, you can set the data and time firstly. The inverter provides multiple languages for users to choose. Here you can set safety code according to different grid-tied standards. Please refer to the table for some main codes. Set the system maximum allowed feed-in power to the grid. Especially, when there is a zero injection requirement, just set the value to be 0. By default, the inverter is set to CT, change to meter if the inverter is connected to a meter. Thank you for watching.